Have you ever imagined a place so dark, so terrifying, that even the idea of freedom feels like a dream? A place where children are born as prisoners, where laughter, love, and hope are crimes. Welcome to Camp 14, the most horrible and secretive prison camp in North Korea. This isn't just a camp. It's a nightmare built on fear, silence, and pain. The hidden world of Camp 14. Deep in the mountains of North Korea, far away from the cities, lies a prison camp surrounded by barbed wire, watchtowers, and death traps. It's officially called Kwanliso number 14. But for those who know the truth, it's simply hell on earth. Unlike most prisons, Camp 14 doesn't hold criminals. It holds generations of families. If a man is accused of disloyalty to the government, his entire family, his wife, his parents, even his children, can be sent to this camp. Not for a few years, but forever. Inside these fences, there is no trial, no judge, no rights. Only one rule: obey or die. Born behind bars, the story of Shin Dong-hyuk. Our story follows one man, Shin Dong-hyuk. He wasn't sent to Camp 14. He was born there. From the moment he opened his eyes, Shin's life belonged to the guards. He didn't know what freedom meant. He didn't know that the world outside even existed. He believed everyone lived inside camps, obeying orders, starving, and dying. His first memories weren't of toys or friends. They were of hunger and fear. His mother wasn't a loving figure. She was a fellow prisoner, forced to work from dawn till night. Children in Camp 14 didn't play. They worked in fields, picked stones, and dug in the frozen ground until their hands bled. If they disobeyed, they were beaten. If they tried to run, they were shot. A life without love. In Camp 14, emotions were forbidden. Love, kindness, or friendship were seen as weakness, even betrayal. Children were trained to spy on their parents and report anything suspicious. Shin once said that when he was a child, he betrayed his own mother and brother. He overheard them talking about escaping, and as he was taught by guards, he immediately reported them, thinking it was the right thing to do. But what happened next would haunt him forever. The guards dragged his mother and brother to the execution ground. Shin was forced to watch. His mother was hanged. His brother was shot. He was only 14 years old. In that moment, Shin realized the truth. This wasn't life. This was a nightmare created by men who had lost their humanity. The cruel rules of Camp 14. Camp 14 was built on a system of absolute control. Every prisoner had a number, not a name. They slept on hard floors, ate corn porridge and cabbage soup that barely kept them alive. They worked 12 to 16 hours a day, mining, carrying rocks, cutting wood, or farming on steep mountains. Anyone who slowed down was beaten. One mistake could cost a life. A small piece of stolen food? Execution. A whispered word against the guards? Execution. Trying to escape? Execution. Even animals were treated better than prisoners. Women faced even more horrors. Some were taken by guards for special duties. Others were punished for becoming pregnant, often in unthinkable ways. And the saddest part? No one outside knew this place existed. It wasn't on any map. The government denied its existence. To the world, Camp 14 was just a rumor. Until one day, someone escaped. The escape. Shin was 23 years old when he met another prisoner, an older man named Park. Park had lived outside North Korea before being captured. He told Shin about the outside world, about cooked food, meat, and lights that never went out at night. For Shin, these stories sounded like fairy tales. He couldn't imagine a world where people could eat whenever they wanted, where no guard shouted, where no one got executed for speaking. But soon, those stories lit a fire inside him, a burning desire to escape. One cold day in 2005, Shin and Park made their move. They ran towards the electric fence that surrounded Camp 14. Park went first, but the moment he touched the fence, electricity surged through his body. He died instantly. Shin didn't stop. Using Park's body as a shield, he climbed over the fence, burning his legs and back. But he made it. For the first time in his life, he was outside, a world he never knew. Freedom didn't feel like freedom at first. Shin was cold, hungry, and terrified. He had no idea where to go. He wandered for days until he reached China, then South Korea, where people finally believed his story. His scars, burns, and trauma became living proof of Camp 14's existence. But escaping the camp didn't mean escaping his memories. Shin carried guilt. Guilt for betraying his family. Guilt for surviving when others didn't. He said in interviews that even years later, he couldn't sleep without nightmares. He told the world everything. The torture, the executions, the starvation, the brainwashing. And for the first time, people outside North Korea began to understand the horror of these camps. The world reacts. When Shin's story became public, it shocked the world. Human rights organizations confirmed through satellite images that prison camps like Camp 14 were real, massive, hidden in mountains, surrounded by fences and guard towers. Thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands, of North Koreans are believed to be trapped in these camps right now. Some are born there. Some are sent for saying a wrong word. And most will die there. Governments call it a crime against humanity. But North Korea continued to deny it all, saying there were no such camps. Yet, survivors like Shin are living proof that these places exist. Silent witnesses of a cruelty the world must never ignore. The price of truth. Today, Shin lives free, but freedom has its price. He has changed parts of his story over the years, not because he lied, but because trauma made it hard to remember clearly. His life has been filled with pain, guilt, and a search for healing. But no matter what, his voice broke the silence. He became the first person born in a North Korean labor camp to escape and tell the world his story. His message is simple. We can never forget those still trapped behind those walls. A warning from the shadows. Camp 14 is not just a place. It's a warning, a reminder of how far cruelty can go when power has no limits. Behind North Korea's closed borders, there are still people living and dying in silence. Their stories are hidden. Their voices are unheard. And maybe, right now, another child is being born inside Camp 14, just like Shin once was. A child who doesn't know what freedom means. A child who believes the world is only fences and guards. That's why these stories matter. Because the moment the world forgets, darkness wins. The final words. Camp 14 stands as one of the darkest symbols of modern human suffering. It shows what happens when fear replaces compassion, when control replaces freedom, and when silence buries the truth. Shin's escape gave the world a glimpse into that darkness, but also a spark of hope. Hope that someday those fences will fall. Hope that no child will ever again be born a prisoner. And hope that the world will finally open its eyes to the hidden horrors of North Korea. So the next time you hear the name Camp 14, remember, it's not just a story. It's a cry for help from people who still live where nightmares never end.